Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Frankie, ready to give you your week ahead reading. I did things a little bit differently this time because I noticed in my last video I was kind of like all over the place. I didn't really like that, so I drew cards, I took notes so that I don't miss a beat, and I also pulled our affirmations already. And I've already figured out how that already aligns with the cards that we have already pulled. First of all, if you are joining me again, thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. If this is the first time that you're stumbling upon this video or my channel, welcome. And if this message resonates with you or you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are up to date with the latest that's going on. So, first of all, so for the beginning of the week, we have the Emperor, the Moon, and the Seven of Wands. So when I see that, the first message that came through was to be careful with the advice that somebody is going to give you this week, whether that be a leader or a friend or a mentor. This is kind of telling me that with the Moon card that they're not really in the right headspace for some reason, or maybe their emotions are very, very high and they're not thinking clearly of what advice it is that you truly need. So take the advice, but take a step back, weigh the pros and cons, only because of this, with the Seven of Wands, I feel like that's going to create, this advice can potentially create a lot more challenge instead of, helping you out. Another thing that came through is there's a lot of as above, so below energy. So I could immediately see that with the Moon card, every time the Moon card shows up, I always try to see what's happening in astrology with the Moon, because in this card we see the Moon and it's almost like she's like concentrating really, really hard, and you can see like radiation or like energy coming down to Earth. So that's why I say as above, so below. What's happening in the planets or what's happening with the Moon affects us here on Earth. So I've already given you that message. I was already getting that vibe, and let me read you. So I'm not an astrologer, first and foremost. That's not my forte. The two astrologers that I personally recommend are Jessica Wiggins from Bahati Life. Definitely check out her channel. She's really great. And also Jessica Lanyado, who has a podcast called Ghost of a Podcast, where she talks about astrology. So I was really drawn to really figure out, okay, like, well, what is happening in the Moon this week? So from Cafe Astrology, this is what I pulled. So on Monday, beginning of the week, the first quarter moon occurs when the Sun in Pisces forms a square with the Moon in Gemini. There is a crisis theme surrounding any quarter moon phase, as we feel compelled to take action, which is back to the Emperor card. The Emperor is a lot of Aries energy. That's the card for the Aries zodiac sign, and Aries is all about action. And so continuing, shortly after, we are made aware of how our actions affect those close to us, and then we'll get into the affirmation card from there because that aligns with that. Perhaps through trial and error, whatever project or initiative we began around the new moon is now off to the ground and may face its first obstacles. Seven of Wands. So I was just like really surprised to see how that aligned with everything. So also with Aries, I know that with what we just read about the Moon, it says that we're compelled to take action. A lot of times, like, Aries is so like ready to act that they don't really necessarily think before they do. So the Moon is also represents of course, like our moon sign. Our moon sign tells us how we handle our emotions. So this could be that by saying, hey, even though you may be in a little bit of a crisis mode or a little bit of a hectic mode, take a step back, ground your emotions, and think of the best way to respond. Because with all of these challenges that are ahead of us this week, with that project that just hit the ground, you don't want to make things worse for yourself. And that's the beauty of pulling cards for the week, is that you're able to be warned of the challenges ahead. And going into our affirmation for the beginning of the week, the affirmation is tact. So this goes with what we read about being aware of our actions and how our actions affect those around us. So with tact, not sure if you can see it, it says, I speak and act with care, remembering that impulsive words or a harsh tone can sometimes hurt others. If it feels like I'm walking on eggshells, I'll remind myself that those eggshells might actually be a shop full of china, and I might actually be a bull. Then I'll remind myself to stop mixing metaphors. So again, the beginning of the week in these cards is just having us being mindful of how we react, what we say, what we do, because those actions, with the challenges that we're already naturally facing, those responses can be, make things worse for you, which you don't want. So for the middle of the week, we have Page of Swords, Judgment, and the Two of Coins. So again, the Page of Swords is always a promising sign, going back to a new project that we have started, a new idea that we want to bring to fruition. The Page of Swords reminds me, so the swords rule like our mind, logical thinking, ideas, anything that is going on here, up here in the head. So that new idea that you have, or that new project that you want to start or have already started, is that's definitely a promising sign for it. With Judgment, I feel like this new project or this new idea is going to ignite a lot of emotion and awaken a lot of maybe things that have been kept on the DL for a while, and you're going to get a very reactive response. But the Two of Coins is just letting you know that your goal is to just stay balanced, try to help everybody else stay balanced. I also, something that came through was like a shift with the Page of Swords, like a new shift when it comes to maybe a new idea that somebody has, and some people are going to be very resistant to that idea or to that change. But it's one of those things where like there's nothing you can really do about it. Like this is happening, and I understand that you feel that way, but now it's just a matter of us having to work through it together. So just be mindful that whenever a new idea comes through, or wherever a new process comes through, you're always gonna have that transition period where things seem a little bit hectic. People are kind of resistant. They want to share their ideas. They want to tell you why they think it's not a good idea and why they want to continue to keep doing what they usually do. But just be reminded that eventually, once the dust settles, everything is going to be fine. Let's see. And that is everything that came through for the middle of the week. Also, with the Page of Swords and the Two of Coins, I would say if you're struggling between two decisions or two paths that you're trying to take, Judgment is letting you know, choose what is going to bring excitement for you, what is going to bring you a feeling of emotional fulfillment, what is best for your new path, especially if you're in a period right now where you're feeling very stagnant and are ready for that change. You might be presented with those options like, do I stay, do I go, do I do I not do I say, do I not say. Page of Swords also reminds us to make sure that we're thinking things through Page of Swords is a very smart person, intellectual person, but they're still very young and have a lot to learn. So just be careful, but choose what is ultimately best for you and what is going to bring you excitement, and emotional fulfillment. And okay, end of the week. So end of the week we have Ace of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Magician. So again, going back to if you've ever seen these cards, you can kind of see that both the Hierophant and the Magician, they have this position where one arm is like this and one is going down like this, and that means as above, so below. What's happening up there in the planets affects us down here. So I am definitely gonna stay tuned for Jessica Leno's podcast or Jessica Wiggins' Astro live chat, because this is telling me that what the planets are doing at the end of the week are definitely going to affect us. So again, I'm not an astrologer. That is just the message that came through. Also, another thing is big news of a marriage, big news of a big union, whether that be between two people, whether it be a new career that you've been applying for or been interviewing for. This is telling you that Ace of Wands, that new big news that you've been waiting for is coming, and that union is going to happen of some sort. So if you've been trying to merge with something else, that is definitely a promising sign. The Magician is also telling us not to forget or doubt our natural power. If you've been starting to feel like, oh, I don't really think that this is gonna happen for me, I haven't really heard anything, be patient and don't put that doubt out into the universe, because that's only going to block whatever it is that is trying to come into your life, and whatever it is that's trying to come through for you to accept. Also, last thing is, because of the Hierophant and because of the Magician, the Hierophant also represents our spirituality. He represents like the Pope in the tarot, but that, when I see this card, it always reminds me of spirituality. And then with the Magician and the Ace of Wands, these cards are basically saying whatever intention it is that you've been wanting to set, or whatever spell it is that you've been wanting to cast, the end of the week is definitely the time to do it. So again, I'm called to see what's going on the planets, check in with your favorite astrologers, and see what are the planets doing that will allow me to cast this spell, and you can work with the energy of the planets, and they can assist you with bringing that into fruition. For those of you that haven't met Sasha, this is my dopey Sasha. Say hi, Sasha. She's so needy. I have to be giving her attention like every second of the day, or she starts whining. If you heard like a little whining noise in the background, that is her, because she's like, Dad, no, talk to me. So let's get into our affirmations for the week. So we actually have 2 affirmations that, because these were jumper affirmations when it comes to at work. So I'll read both of these, and I know that they're going to resonate with you. 1, no need to do. I am exactly where I need to be, exactly when I need to be. There's nothing more I need to do. I mean, yes, there will always be laundry and taxes, but in terms of my life's path, I don't need to do anything because I am already here. I take a deep breath, relax, and trust, and then do the laundry. So this kind of reminds us that we're always trying to look ahead. What is our next big move? What is our next big idea? What is our next big thing? And this card is reminding us to stay present. Right now is the time to focus on what is happening right now in this moment. Whatever's going to happen in the future will happen then. Right now, don't spend time worrying or fussing about that because we don't know what's going to happen. All we can do is just be present in this moment and just take a deep breath and relax. The universe has got your back. Next, power. I am strong, I am grounded, I am powerful. I am like a cross between a dinosaur and a tank, but not a tank that is used for war. I am like a peaceful, loving dino tank who feels so strong it doesn't need to do anything but be. So for me, this card aligns with the magician. So with the magician, he is here to tell us and remind us that we all have power. We all have the ability to bring something into fruition. It's just a matter of us believing in ourselves. And then if you can, I'm not sure, this is the first time I'm using this camera. Oh, I forgot to mention, shout out because I'm now in HD. So my guides were like, girl, I know you want to be doing these YouTube videos. I know you want to get out there. I know you want to do your tarot, but you cannot be out there looking grainy. Like, no, that's not how. So I invested. And so anyway, power. And as you can see, if you look up this image of the magician, you'll see that he has the 4 suits on his table, which are pentacles, swords, wands, and cups. So this is telling you that you have the tools, you have the power to bring whatever it is that you want to bring to fruition. You set it out into the universe and that energy flows down and it comes to earth and becomes physical. Our last affirmation of the week is forgiveness. Congratulations, you're being given one of the most powerful superpowers there is, forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power, but remember, with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. So I feel like this is going to be very relevant for the beginning of the week and possibly the middle of the week, because like I said, we're going to be in a transition period where things seem very hectic, where people are giving a lot of pushback and emotions are going to be very high with the moon card. And people are not going to be themselves and people are not going to react as they normally would. So keep that in mind. Once the dust settles, be open to forgiving those people and for the way that they reacted, knowing that they weren't themselves at that time. And also, if you do make a mistake, if you do make a decision that didn't work out, remember, don't be hard on yourself. Take it as a learning opportunity. Right now, especially with the Page of Swords, the Page of Swords is telling us like we have the ability to be smart, to bring good ideas, to improve processes, to just really improve things just in general with our logical mind. However, like I mentioned before, we still have a lot of lessons to learn. So if you make a decision as a Page of Swords and it doesn't work out that well, that's necessary. That is a learning opportunity so that you can eventually step into King of Swords energy or Queen of Swords energy. There's always this learning period that we have to go through. But alright, my loves, well, that is everything for this week. Again, if you're watching me for a second or third time, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you. And I know and hope that these messages for this week have really resonated with you. Again, if you're new to my channel or new to these videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're always up to date about what's going on for the week ahead, and also any other spiritual videos that I may think of posting. But it was nice hanging out with you guys. Have a blessed week, and love and light.